Hey everybody, Jeff Reinhart here, LMP and Lancaster Online. It is week 3 of the Huddle LL League Football Podcast. Welcome aboard. Thanks again to Auto House of Lancaster for sponsoring the show this fall and all things LL League football this fall. Good to have you on board. Okay, let's wrap up a crazy, wild, long week 2 and jump into the week 3 games, of which there are 28. 27 on Friday, and a Saturday matinee for good measure. Another busy week in LL League football. Yikes. Okay, 5 things I learned in week 2 that really stood out. Here we go. 3 trophy game winners. Ephrata. How about the Mounts? They go to 2-0, shut out Warwick 14-0 to retain the George Mell Trophy. Great start for the Mounts. Battle of the Border trophy game. Reading beats Muhlenberg. Red Knights win that game for the second year in a row. And the Braves Bowl, got to see this on Saturday morning over in Atglen. Octorara beats Pequay Valley 35-0. Octorara wins the Braves Bowl for the second year in a row. Number 2 made the trip to Delaware, Wilmington, on Friday to see this unbelievable game. Manheim Central 37, Smyrna 36. Central led the whole game, and then Smyrna comes back and forth. Smyrna takes a late lead. Central, Manheim Magic, cue it. Barons drive the length of the field. Backup QB, Ray Lewis, lobs a 38-yard touchdown pass to Aaron Enterline under 30 seconds to go on 4th down. Barons score late and win it by a point over Smyrna. Mid-Atlantic Pigskin Classic, amazing. Amazing win for Central. Number 3, Jake Williams have a night. Program record 320 rushing yards, plus 5 touchdowns. Elko drops Anvil Cleona 49-7. Williams in 2 games, 554 rushing yards, 10 total touchdowns. Is that any good? Number 4, Hayden Johnson, Manheim Township, senior quarterback, heading to Lehigh. Became the 29th quarterback in LL League history to join the 5,000-yard passing club last week against Dallastown. Another big night for Mr. Johnson. He's at 5,094 passing yards, already number 25 on the list, and sure to climb that ladder more the rest of this fall. Lastly, McCaskey, tip of the cap, Red Tornado. They snap a 10-game losing streak. Those are a drag. But the Red Tornado get a win, put up a bunch of crooked numbers, and a 40-13 victory over Elizabethtown. So McCaskey gets to 1-1. More importantly, they snap that streak at 10. Good on you, McCaskey. Okay, week 3. Oh, boy. Charge the batteries, y'all. It's going to be another long week of games. Like I said, 27 on Friday night and 1 on Saturday. Give you a quick hitter and give you a pick on the games. Here we go. Wilson at Martin Luther King in Philadelphia. This game will be at 6:30 on Friday at one of those super sites. South Philly super site? Germantown super site? I'm not sure. I forget which one. Wilson's 0-2 for the first time since 1993 and looking to avoid their first 0-3 start since 1965. Oh my, it's been a while. Martin Luther King's 1-1. They beat Dobbins Tech last week. Wilson's won both games that they played against MLK pretty comfortably last year. Wilson's got to get a W here. Gut punch loss in OT against against Central Dauphin last week, I know. But Wilson's got to be motivated to get a dub. So I'll go Bulldogs over Golden Cougars. Cedar Crest at Warwick. Crest, tip of the cap. They've outscored their opponents 57-7, playing inspired D. Had the shutout in week 1, only gave up 1 touchdown to CD East last week. They get a Warwick team that didn't score and lost to Ephrata. I'm going to ride the Falcons D once again this week. Crest over Warwick. Hempfield at Central York. Will David Pale play or will he not play? Hempfield Southern Cal commit reportedly was in a walking boot last week, did not play against York. York won the game. Central York is a different animal. Jules Goff had a 300-yard rushing night with 6 touchdowns in a win over Central Dauphin in week 1. Panthers are tough. Central York over Hempfield. Harrisburg at Manheim Township. Rematch. Cougars beat the Streaks in the district finals last year. Blue Streaks beat the Cougars in a non-league game last year. Both games at Harrisburg. This game, the rubber match, in Neffsville with a hot Hayden Johnson, who joined the 5,000-yard passing club. We'll call this the homer pick of the week. I cover Lancaster County. I'll go Streaks over Cougars. That should be a good one. McCaskey at Cedar Cliff. As mentioned, McCaskey snaps the 10-game slide. Cedar Cliff's 2-0. They play well at home on the West Shore, and they're 2-0. Good stuff, McCaskey, but I like the Colts here. Cliff over the Tornado. Penn Manor at Solanco. Both teams 0-2. Penn Manor's a head-scratcher. They've been outscored 51-0. They have not scored yet. Only team in the league without a point. They lost to, who'd they lose to? CV and LS, who were both undefeated, by the way. But a rough start for the Comets, looking to get things turned around pronto. Solanco had to play LS and Cocalico in its first two games. They're 0-2, but they have some numbers. They can run the ball. So I will go Golden Mules at home. Penn Manor looking to score. Solanco over Penn Manor. Reading at Red Lion. Red Knights, good win last week. Beat Muhlenberg in the Battle of the Border Trophy game. Good for those guys. Red Lion lost a tricky one in week 1 to Ephrata. Came back with a win last week, and they're at home. And I wrote this in my notes this week. This pick is the one I feel that could come back and haunt me, but I'm going to go Red Lion at home. Gut hunch. Lions over Knights. Garden Spot at CV. Old school LL. Former Section 2 rivals colliding. They're both 2-0. We were at CV this week for the video show. Take a look for that. CV won this game last year 41-35. Sucker punch in OT. Got a big sack late and beat the Spartans. I think Garden Spot gets some revenge here. Kai Harding has passed and rushed for 100 yards plus in both games so far. Bucks must defend him. I'll go Sparty Nation over CV. Exeter at West York. Exeter's cruising here, 2-0. Good comeback win last week against Boyertown. They got down 14 early, came back and posted 36 unanswered. They're playing well. West York is struggling mightily. I'll go Eagles over the Bulldogs. Boyertown at Governor Mifflin. I like Mifflin here. I have them circled. They had a good win against Carlisle last week. I think I wrote pre-game they're going to put their foot down and get a win here one way or another, and they did. And I think they stay hot. I'll take Mustangs over Bears. Lebanon at Ephrata. Got to see Lebanon last week. Thursday night game against Garden Spot. Lebanon played a great second quarter. Scored. Might have forced a turnover in there, but Garden Spot played a spirited second half and won. 24 losses in a row now for Lebanon, but they can do some things. I like Kareem Stoner, the quarterback. He can make plays. Ephrata, 2-0, looking for their first 3-0 start in more than 20 years. I can't seem to find it, but I think it was 2003 or 2002. It's been a while for the Mounts, and I think they take care of business here, get to 3-0, and keep on chugging. I'll take Ephrata over Lebanon. Huge game alert. Manheim Central at Cocalico for my money. Probably the juiciest rival going in Lancaster County. Never any love lost when the Eagles and the Barons collide. They'll get together in Denver here. Cocalico snap back. Had the weird week 1 loss against Warwick. Couldn't hold a 14-0 lead. Warriors come back 17 unanswered and win. Cocalico got back on track last week. Rushed for 389, scored 40-plus points, and beat Solanco. Central, as mentioned, unbelievable win down in Delaware. So those guys are really flying and have a lot of mo, and their offense is scary. I'll go Barons here. Love the rivalry. I'll go Central over Cocalico. Muhlenberg at Daniel Boone. Couple of 0-2 teams. I have Boone circled. This rivalry goes back into like the 50s. These two have been playing football forever and ever. Whoever wins here gets their first dub. I'll go Blazers over Mules. Lower Dolphin at E-Town. LD last week made Twin Valley earn it, and Twin Valley has the number 1 offense in the LL League. They're averaging, gulp, 560 yards a game. Wow. And they have over 900 rushing yards in 2 weeks. E-Town struggling. Got shut out in week one against Donegal. And then got tripped up last week by McCaskey. So I'm going to go LD here. Falcons over Bears. Fleetwood at Upper Perk. Fleetwood's 2-0, y'all. Flying under the radar a smidge. But the Tigers, perfect here. Zion Brickle and Dakota Thomas, really good 1-2 punch backfield guys. And the Tigers are playing well. Upper Perk 0-2, but gave Boyertown a great game and gave Schuylkill Valley a great game last week. But I'm going to go Fleetwood here. I'll ride them another week, and they own this series here against Upper Perk. So I'll take the Tigers to go to 3-0. How about that? Twin Valley at Conrad Weiser, as mentioned. Raiders are sailing here. Their O-line has been as advertised. Johnson and Engel are tearing it up in the backfield. They've been fantastic. 560 yards a game for TV here early on. They've been awesome. Conrad Weiser 0-2 and looking for Mo. Raiders over Scouts. Pope John Paul II out of the Royersford, Pottstown area at Berks Catholic. BC had a huge win last week. They came back and beat state-ranked Executive Education. Michael Bradley, 80-plus yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter to come back and win it. So they have some Mo, but PJP's really good. Scored 40-plus last year against BC, and they're ranked like 5th in the state in 4A. So they're pretty good. So let's go PJP here over the Saints. Palmyra at Donegal. Hey, Donegal's 2-0. How about the Indians flying under the radar here a little bit? Beat E-Town. Last week got a good revenge win over York Suburban. Trojans had knocked Donegal out in the playoffs last year. Donegal comes back, has a big fourth quarter. Brock Hamaker passes for 200 yards. Tyler Slode with a big TD catch in the second half, and Donegal goes to 2-0. I think they go to 3-0. Indians over Cougars. Columbia at Elko. This was the weirdest week 1 to week 2 differential that I could find in scouring everything. Columbia loses in week 1 to Eastern York 46-0. Columbia comes back in week 2, scores 40 and beats Hanover. So what a turnaround for the Tide. But now they got to go to Elko, and the Raiders are 2-0, and Jake Williams is just ripping stuff up. 500-plus rushing yards, 10 touchdowns. Last year against Columbia, he rushed for 250, scored 3 touchdowns, including a kick return. I like Elko here. Raiders over Tide. Kennardale at LS. Rams and Pioneers. LS coming off a shutout win. Their defense has been good. They haven't put up many gaudy offensive numbers yet, but I think that'll come around. Some new guys on the O-line. A tough injury I'm hearing this week for LS. They're going to be without their running back for a little while, but Jonathan Mellinger came in last week, rushed for 150 and a couple of scores. Boom. Pioneers over Rams. Lancaster Catholic at Octorara, 2-2-0 teams. Saw Octorara last week, shut out Pequea Valley in the Braves Bowl. They have 6 takeaways. They had 5 takeaways against PV, and they had that game-sealing fumble recovery in week 1 against Muhlenberg. So 6 takeaways for Octorara. That's good stuff. Catholic's sort of a different animal, though. They're 2-0, and Elijah Cunningham, rushed for 170 and 4 touchdowns last week. I like Catholic here. They're playing well. Crusaders over Braves. Great game here. Waya missing at Trinity. Both reigning district champs. YO in 3A, Trinity in 2A. Both state-ranked teams. YO's 2 in 3A, Trinity's 3 in 2A. Trinity features Messiah Mickens, fabulous running back, sophomore. He can scoot. He's at 400-plus yards already. But I like YO here. Too much depth, too many guys to have to contend with. Could be closer maybe than some people anticipate, but YO's got just too many athletes. I'll go Spartans over Shamrocks. Anvil Cleona at Littlestown. Thunderbolts. AC, big week 1, 50-plus points, a ton of yards, and then they got axed last week by Elko. Hearing Bryce Keller, their 200-yard rusher from week 1, will be back this week. I think AC gets untracked and gets itself ready for the section openers next week. Oh, by the way, Dutchman over Littlestown. Fairfield at Hamburg. Fairfield, bit of a struggling program here. I think they're 3-13 in their last 16, and they had to back out of this game last year. Don't forget, because they didn't have enough kids. They were injured and called Hamburg early in the week and said, "We can't play. Sorry." From all indications, this game is a go, and Hamburg's been great. Tyler Shuey, 2 games, 2 300-yard passing performances. Semble's been great catching the ball. Worley's been great catching the ball. Hamburg's been really good, and they're 2-0. They go to 3-0 here. Hawks over Fairfield. Couple more. Kutztown against Pottsville Nativity. That game will be played at North Schuylkill High School, neutral site in Ashland. Kutztown broke out the running attack last week, rushed for 260+ and a win over York Tech, so they're definitely feeling better about things. And Kutztown won this game last year. I know they got to go on the road, but I like the Cougars. I think they stay hot. Kutztown over Nativity. Pequea Valley at Hanover. Pequea Valley rushed for 200+ in week 1 against Biglerville. Tripped up by Octorara, which played some really good defense, and as mentioned, forced 5 turnovers last week. Not going to get much done if you turn the ball over 5 times. Hanover has played 2 LLs already, lost to Annville, lost to Columbia, but they've scored touchdowns. They've put up some yards and done some things. They're at home. This is also the 100th celebration year anniversary of Hanover football, and they're having a big to-do at halftime of this game and pregame. And that's a big night for the Nighthawks. So I think they're going to ride that. I'll take Hanover over PV. Last game Friday night, Susquehanna at a Duncannon at Schuylkill Valley. I wrote this in the notes this week. I really think the Panthers used last week's come-from-behind win over Upper Perk to springboard them, kickstart them, and do a little run here. So I'll go Schuylkill Valley at home over Nita. Saturday game, York County, Northern Lebanon making the bus trip. Vikings are 0-2, looking for some mojo. They have some good passing numbers, but haven't run the ball up to snuff quite yet. They'd like to straighten that out and get some rushing numbers. York Tech 1-1, beat James Buchanan, and then lost to Kutztown last week. Business trip for Northern Lebanon. I think they take care of business here and get their first win. See if they can stretch York Tech's secondary a little bit with their passing game. Vikings over York Tech. Winners, Wilson, Crest, Central York, Township, Cedar Cliff, Solanco, Red Lion, Garden Spot, Exeter, Mifflin, Ephrata, Central, Boone, LD, Fleetwood, Twin Valley, PJP, Donegal, Elko, LS, Catholic, YO, Annville, Cleona, Hamburg, Kutztown, Hanover, Schuylkill Valley, and Northern Lebanon. Where will I be? Friday night, I'm going to go to Township and check out that rematch. Harrisburg at Township. That's a big boy 6A District 3 football slobber knocker game. That should be a ton of fun. Saturday afternoon, I'm going to gas up the car and go to York and check in on Northern Lebanon at York Tech. Okay, week 3 on tap. Should be fun. A lot of games next week, week 4, section play. There'll be a couple non-league games mixed in from then on out. But head-to-head section play begins next Friday, and that'll be fun. Okay, hey, thanks for tuning in. Thank you to Auto House of Lancaster for jumping on board to sponsor. Much obliged. I will see you this weekend out at games, and I'll be back next week for the week 4 preview. Thanks for tuning in. See ya.